Hello world, let's get started to website development. So what is website development? What do you think about website development? It is nothing than writing code in HTML, CSS, JavaScript and other backend languages. As you may see in this picture that a website is basically the combination of HTML5, CSS3, XML, JavaScript and Microsoft.NET here as the backend language. Let's move forward to front-end web development. So front-end development basically deals with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Front-end, as the word suggests, is basically what you see on the front end, like what you see in the browser. So we have HTML, which deals with content and structure of any website or web page. We then have CSS on the next layer, which deals with the design and presentation of what you write in HTML, and then we have JavaScript as the logical and behavioral aspect of website development. So like if you are clicking a button, how the button actually functions, what the button brings up is controlled by the help of JavaScript. Here is a small chart. Web page app is a combination of JavaScript, CSS and HTML and XML. What is backend development? Backend development, as the name suggests, we have something running in the backend which is not generally seen up by the normal users of the website. So a browser at first requests a web page from the web server. The web server sends a data request to the database. The database returns back data to the web server, and the web server then responds back to browser with the data that is displayed on the screen, on the browser's screen. So this is the basic functionality of a website, which contains of both front-end and back-end. Now we have something called full stack development. It's the combination of both front-end and back-end development. We have HTML, JavaScript and then CSS as the front-end technologies, and we have Python, C++, Ruby, Node.js as the backend languages. We also have MySQL and MongoDB as the database management systems. MongoDB is basically NoSQL database. We will deal about these in the later videos. We also have some frameworks like AngularJS, Node.js and React.js. Okay. So at the very beginning we have client-side code, that is HTML, CSS and JavaScript. We have the browser between server and the client. We then have server-side code that is written in PHP or any other backend languages like Python, Java, C++, ASP.NET, etc. We then have the actual web server like Apache, you might have heard of it, or Nginx. We then have the database itself, and it is managed with the help of database management systems like SQL, MySQL or any other of such kind. We then have the operating system at the core, and the operating system manages everything right here. We have HTML, CSS for user interface. We have JavaScript for user interface and interaction. We have PHP for server communication and Apache as a web server. So we also have something called frameworks and libraries, and they are mainly for accelerating the development processes. Like instead of writing 10 lines of code, your task can be done in just 2 lines of code by using some of these frameworks. These are the JavaScript frameworks. We have NPM, Node Package Manager, we have React.js, Require.js, we have Modernizer, we have AngularJS, Vue.js and many other. Bootstrap is basically a CSS framework, and what it does is it accelerates the writing of styles. Okay, suppose that you have to write 10 lines of code, 10 lines of CSS for designing a navigation bar, but with the help of Bootstrap, just giving a particular HTML element of ID, your navigation bar will be designed automatically, and you will understand it better in the later videos. Okay, so the main questions right here is, how do websites really work? Have you ever wondered about it? It's actually interesting. We have something called domain names. You must have heard about .com, .net, .gov, .uk or .in. So here's a quick explanation of the full address of a website. We have the prefix or the protocol it is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is used for displaying web pages. In the case of file transfer, we have something called FTP. Okay, we also have something called SMTP for mail, and so on. The colon and the double slash is necessary. The next thing is the subdomain. In this case, we have www, which means World Wide Web. The next is the main name. Like in case of google.com, we have the main name as Google. And then the extension finally. The extension can be anything, as you saw in this slide. The extension can be .gov, .com, .org, .in, .co.in, .net, .tech, and there are many new domain names too. So all of this combine to form the full address of any website. Now we have something called web hosting. And what is web hosting? Web hosting is putting your files that you wrote on your computer to a web server so that it can be accessed by anywhere across the globe. You might have wondered many times that, okay, I'm writing this code on my computer, but how will it be seen by all of the users on the internet? We have hosting providers for the same. There are many hosting providers like GoDaddy, Bluehost, and so on. So how it actually works is, the website owner transfers all of his files on the hosting server. The hosting server then makes it global on the World Wide Web. And when it is on World Wide Web, as you know, it can be accessed by any website visitor on the globe. So here's a quick summary of what we saw in the previous slides. Full stack development is basically the combination of front-end development and back-end development. Front-end development generally deals with languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and various other frameworks like Bootstrap, React.js, AngularJS, and so on. On the other hand, back-end development deals with the languages like PHP, Java, ASP.NET, C++, Ruby, etc. We also have something called database to store other information. Okay, so this was the quick summary. From the next video, we will start actual coding. We'll start with the basic structure of HTML. So stay tuned. See you in the next video.